All right, guys. Can you guys hear me loud and clear? Please comment below. As you can see right now, I want to get started. There's 43 of you at the moment, so I'm expecting a nice turnout today, so we can have some great discussions about hi-fi. Um, Let me see. Can you guys hear me? Are you guys hearing me loud and clear? I want to make sure my voice comes out clear. Okay, so I'm using this microphone, as you can see. There's nothing worse than bad sound. And I want to make sure that I have a very clean, clear, articulate conversation with all of you watching me today. Um, it is Sunday, and I'm going to go around the room shortly to show you what I have been accomplishing today, this Sunday, and what the future holds here over the next few week and a half or so. This coming week, of course, we are going to be signing, hopefully, the closing of this next chapter, this new home in a new state that I have not disclosed just yet. I want to keep this very close to my chest because things are still not technically signed. So until I sign the paperwork, then I'll be in position to share with you where I'm headed. So that's the reason, okay? That's the reason, guys, why I haven't said anything just yet, because I got to put ink to paper before I disclose what's going on. But anyway, make sure you hit that like button right now. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel. You guys know I appreciate all the love, all the support, all the years that you guys have been following me. It's actually I think it was 8 years now, just this past June, since I've been on YouTube. So for me, it's been an incredible experience. To be honest with you, I wish I had done this earlier. I don't know why I didn't think about doing this earlier. It was kind of stupid, if you ask me, that I did not do it earlier, because I could have had many more subscribers by now. But it is what it is. I am happy with the 36,000 subscribers that are following me at this point, because I know you guys are very focused people that are interested in the ultra high end. I know I review equipment that is not for everyone's budget, but you can always have dreams and aspirations. Remember that. Okay. I came from nothing. I came from Polk audio speakers, on-cure receivers. Yes, on-cure receivers. And I was using Monster cable, believe it or not, the cheapy $20 Monster cable. And I thought I had good sound. I was in love. I was happy with what I was hearing, and I didn't know any better. We all start somewhere. But over time, just to give you a quick idea of what happened, I remember I bought the first amplifier. I think it was a Rotel 1095. I think it was the model. It's a 5-channel amplifier from Rotel. I remember I bought it for my home theater, and I fried 2 tweeters from my Polk Audio LS9 speakers. Look them up. I remember I fried 2 tweeters because I overdrove the speakers. And so I ended up selling the 1095 Rotel amplifier. Great amplifier, by the way. And I made money. I actually made, I think it was like $200 when I sold it. So now I had a larger budget to buy the next component, right? So I went out there and bought a Classe Audio. I think it was the 2200, the stereo amplifier. And that was my first random real amplifier at that point, real 2-channel amplifier, right? For the most part, I've only owned at that point 5-channel and 7-channel amplifiers. So then I moved on to that Classe Audio. And I think I sold it after a while because I wanted to try something else, and I ended up making like $400 on that. Now I had a larger budget, got into the $2,000 amplifiers, got an NAD. I can't remember. It was a big, heavy NAD. And this is something you may not know about me, but I'm going to share something really cool. Cool story, by the way. It might resonate with some of you. I remember driving all the way from Miami to Orlando. That's about a 3.5-hour drive for me. 7 hours round trip. And I remember driving to pick up a Past Labs 350.5 power amplifier. Excited. I figure it was, less than market value, right? I drove out there, picked it up, brought it from a second floor, lifted it with the guy, hauled it home, And I was in love with Past Labs at that point in time. I ended up making like $500-$600 on the sale of that Past Labs amplifier. Kept moving on, right? Kept moving on to the next one. What was the next one? I think it was a Quell amplifier. I went to a Quell amplifier at that point, and I bought it, I think, from a local audiophile, random person. I didn't know the guy. That was my first try with Quell amplifiers. All this time, I am using a lot of Polk audio speakers throughout all these trials, right? Not knowing any better, read a lot of Polk audio forums, believe it or not. So I have to say I did. I used to read a lot on Polk audio. Then I ran into a Bryston amplifier at a local, it was someone selling it out of a storage unit. Very, very hot, very, very hot, humid inside that storage unit, right? And I was afraid that the amplifier would not work when I took it home. So I negotiated hard because I said to him, what if the amplifier is not working anymore because of this humid storage facility where you have it? So he sold it to me for a very good deal. I took it home. Guess what? The Bryston amplifier worked perfectly for at least 2 years or something like that. Sold that, made some money. So as I started to do these things, I started to realize, wait a minute, I'm getting better at this. I'm getting much better at doing this. So I started to look for deals on Craigslist at that point in time and sit down for this story, sit down for this next one. I kept looking on Craigslist, and I remember I found some JL Audio subwoofers. They were like the F113s. So I said, I'm not going to buy an amplifier. I'm going to buy those F113s and flip them. So I bought two JL Audio F113s, the version 1 Fathom version 1. So I sold them. I made about $1,000 on those. Now we're talking here, guys, we're talking 15 years ago, long time ago. So I figured, wow, I got a larger budget now. What do I do next? What do I do next? So I saw a deal on a Class A audio. At that point in time, the big killer processor was a Class A audio processor. I think it is like the 800 model. I can't remember. It was the theater. It was the C. I think it was a CT something series, but it was the hot model Class A audio processor at that point in time, right? It was in a very bad city here in Florida called Hialeah. Hialeah, if you don't know anything about Hialeah, Hialeah is, think about the worst slum probably where you could go buy, anything. Like think about a very shady neighborhood in your neck of the woods, okay? At that point in time, Hialeah was really in a really bad position. Now it's gotten a lot better, okay? More people have moved in there. It's more developed. There's actually nicer people living there. But before it was really bad. So guess what? I found that deal. And the guys tell me, this is the address where you need to meet us, right? And it was like $2,000, right? I said, okay, so I'm excited because I'm getting that for like $600 less than market value. I was looking online on eBay, and it was every one of those processors was selling for like $600 above what they wanted for this one. So I drove out there, right? And right halfway through this drive, I am like, man, I get to the place and I'm thinking, what if I get robbed? What if I get killed? I got cash on me. They know I'm coming with $2,000. Remember, the audiophile in me all this time is only thinking about the deal and the fact that I'm getting a great processor, that I've always wanted to play with this processor. I'm so excited to bring it. It was the hottest freaking processor in the market at that point in time. And I'm like, wow, I can't believe I'm going to be watching movies on that thing. I'm super excited, right? The audiophile in me made me drive. I get to the place, and it was a very obscure warehouse. It was daytime, but it was still dark inside. Weird people working there, but it was only like 4 people working there. And I'm like, man, this feels like not a good place to come and do business with $2,000, right? And I'm like, should I leave now, or are they going to still chase me and rob me? So I'm thinking, well, let's hope for the best, man. Let's hope for the best. Let's do it. So I walked in there, and I say, okay, I'm the guy that wanted to buy this processor. Oh yeah, it's in the back. It's in the back. Come with us to the back. I'm thinking that might be the last time my family hears from me. I'm literally thinking that. So I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. I went to the back and I'm thinking there's probably going to be two guys in the back and I'll be taken out. Get there. Nope, the processor is sitting on a table. It looked like they had just pulled it from a job because it has a lot of dust on it. I paid for the processor, right? All good. Take it home. Work fine. I'm happy. But of course, remember, I was already in the habit of buying and reselling, right? So I'm thinking at that point, I want to try something even better. So I'm doing it at this point because I am going through a lot of gear for my own pleasure, listening pressure. I got the opportunity at that point to try many different components. And so I am buying the next component. And well, what happens is I throw it up on eBay. And I sold it to someone on eBay at that point in time. The guy gets it. And about 3 weeks later, he says the processor has died. So he's demanding a refund. And I said, no, no, no. Why don't we send it to the manufacturer and I'll pay for it? No worries. I'll pay for it to get over there and I'll make it right. It gets to the manufacturer and they say the item has been reported stolen by the original owner. There is a police report, and unfortunately, we cannot give it back. So the guy is flipping out. He is just like, I can't believe it. Why would you sell me something stolen? And I'm like, dude, I bought it from someone else. Now, of course, I knew I wasn't going to go back over there where I bought it and knock on the door and probably get canned or, get capped. I wasn't going to do that. I knew that I shouldn't go back there. So basically, I lesson learned, right? I bought it from the wrong people only to be reported stolen soon after. So I had to refund the money because I had sold it through eBay. So all the money that I had made up until that point, gone, lost it. Had no processor, had none of my money. There was a police report that was filed for the piece from, I guess, the house that was broken into. And they basically, said you got to give the money back to the buyer, or we're gonna have to take this with the authorities. And of course, at that point, this is 15 years ago, guys. I had to refund the money and start from ground zero, from scratch. At that point, I am not married. I don't have a wife. I don't have any kids. I'm on my own. I have a regular job, of course, but I am essentially back to zero. All the hustling that I have been doing, all the ins and outs, just to be able to try different components had come to a complete halt. And so I'm giving you this story because it ties really well into what I'm going through today with my next move, right? I kept grinding. I kept working. I kept going forward. I didn't let that stop me. I started to, little by little begin to, do good trades. I was buying at a good deal. Now it's much harder. I'm not gonna lie. It's much harder to do that. But I was on Craigslist. If you know anything about Craigslist, it's one of the shadiest websites you can go to today. I don't encourage you to go there. It's nothing but bad people. I hear people get stabbed there over a cell phone. Yes. So it's crazy, okay? You don't really want to do anything with people that are on those websites anymore. But back then it was safer. Even though I was taken out, it was safer. So, this is just a story that I want to share with you guys so you understand that nothing that comes with success, right? In my opinion, doesn't have some sort of struggle in the beginning, some sort of hurdle, some sort of obstacles, right? And you should never let these things stop you if you have a dream, whatever that may be. I never thought in a million years, folks, that I was going to leave this home here in sunny South Florida to head elsewhere, and to build a bigger operation, bigger business model. And again, when I started this, I'm sharing with you how I got started from nothing, from just having fun buying and reselling so that I can afford the next great component that I couldn't afford otherwise had I not been doing some sort of flipping. That's how my passion started in the beginning, because I got to play with so much gear and it was so much fun. But I had no understanding about the importance of the room. I had no understanding about the quality of the music. I was streaming music through Pandora, If you if you can believe that. Pandora is what I was using. I didn't have any DSD files. I didn't have any Super Audio CD player, any of that. And I was happy. I was very happy at that point in time. Soon after that, of course, I met good people within the industry, good dealers. I was able to afford my first piece. This is one thing you may not know. What do you think is the very first hi-fi loudspeaker brand that I bought? The first pair of speakers that I call real hi-fi that I bought, which my wife is not here, so she's not looking. Okay, I remember almost cleaning or clearing my bank account to pay for these speakers. And I was counting on next week's paycheck to pay for my part of the rent. Think about that. I said, well, I can pay for the speakers right now. I'm going to be left with like $100 in the bank, but I get paid Friday. So that will cover rent and my part of my responsibilities in this household. At that point, my wife and I had just moved in together for the first time. So I said, screw it, I'll do it. I didn't tell anything to my wife. I didn't say anything to her. It was a pair of Martin Logan Montes. These were $10,000 speakers at the time. Stereophile had a great review on the speakers. I couldn't stop reading about the speakers. I couldn't stop looking at pictures of the speaker on my computer. I just had to have them. I ran into the speakers at a local Best Buy store. At that point, it was called, I think it was Magnolia, maybe at that point still. They had them on the floor. I heard them with some Macintosh tube amplifiers, and I felt like I got to have them one way or the other. I don't know what I need to do, but I got to have them. And that was my first purchase of hi-fi loudspeakers. And let me tell you something right now. Those will always have a special place in my heart because I enjoyed the hell out of those Martin Logan Montes speakers. So that's a cool story, right? I hope you guys are enjoying my beginning, my early days, how I got started, how things evolved. There are so many narratives out and about that I'm losing my house, that I'm getting evicted, that I am like in a financial distress, and I just laugh. I laugh at those people that create those narratives because those are the individuals that don't really have anything better to do. To be frank with you, it's far from that. This house that we're in is going to be rented, hopefully soon, to someone, and I am going to move on to greener pastures somewhere else. Okay, but the truth is, the move is because of me expanding, wanting to expanding and do bigger things. It's time for that change. And I hope that if you are right now in any sort of journey or business venture of any kind, if you're just getting started and you're, selling something, you're working out of your dining table, putting together whatever product you're selling, shirts, bracelets, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Start somewhere. Start somewhere. If you believe in what you're doing, start somewhere. Don't let anybody stop you. Don't let anyone tell you you can't do it. If you have the courage and the desire to work at your craft and whatever your passion is, that is the most important thing that you could ever ask for. It's one thing. Step one is wanting to do the work, believing in the work, not feeling that it's work. If you feel that way about anything in your current life, business-wise, do it. Don't listen to anybody. Just do it. Don't listen to anybody. Don't listen to the punks. Don't listen to the naysayers. Those are people that their main role, their main goal in life is essentially to knock you down. They roll out of bed every day to try to figure out who they can belittle, who they can talk down to. That's their job. That's what they're born to do in life. Remember that. Haters are part of the journey. Their job is to hate. That is what they're here for every day. Remember that. So if you have a business right now and you got a bunch of haters, tell them to hate you even more because you're not going anywhere. Haters will always be around you, but don't let them take you down. Just what you should do is push them away. Stay away from them. Don't listen to their noise. You don't really need that negative static around your life. You don't really need any of that. Okay, you got to stay clean and clear and focused and out from those people that have bad intentions. Remember that, okay? So at the end of the day, this has been a very, very cool journey. There is a little bit of like nostalgia inside of me because I do feel like sad. And I'm going to show you right now with 120 of you. I'm going to show you what I have been doing So you can see, I've been taking out the Martin Logan's in walls, right? We've been working on taking those out. Rears, okay? And I'm working on the rears right here. They are going to one of my followers. He bought them all. So I'm putting those together for him. I gave him a good deal. I'm not gonna lie. See right there? I'm putting them in plastic wrap, and I'm gonna take him to FedEx and ship them out to him. So this is what I'm doing. And I still got the in walls. See them above me? I still got to do those. So, but the room, as you can see, the room is completely gutted now. I just need to wrap the few things up. As far as these wires, you guys have any feedback you can give me? These are the wires that are inside the walls to essentially wire the speakers. I'm thinking, should I leave those? Should I remove them? Look, they come through there. So I don't know what to do with them. And I don't know if they fit there. So maybe you guys can give me some feedback as to what to do with it, or should I just chop them up, cut them, and call it a day? Because right now, I don't know what to do with them. Let me see. If you guys have any sort of question, I'm going to start looking at your questions at the moment. Thank you for your support, guys. Okay, so I'm going to look at your questions right now. Beautiful. Good things to come. Yes. Gordy French. Yes. I expect for great things to come. And by the way, if you see me slightly thinner, that's because I've lost about 16 pounds. So yes, I am 16 pounds lighter. How do I do that? You ready? Stop going to the gym. Yep. I just stopped going to the gym and I lost 16 pounds. That's all I've done. No gym for the last 21 days. And I start dropping weight. That's how I lose weight. Isn't that funny? Going to the gym makes me gain weight because I eat more. They say Nordos cables are fast. What does that exactly mean? I've never heard such thing about a cable. Usually fast comes from amplification, typically, right? Usually that's what lets you know when an amplifier is immediate, very immediate, has speed, grip. That's really the core, the heartbeat, the one thing that pushes blood to the extremities of the body, if that makes sense. That's typically the amplifier. I never really heard that from loudspeaker cables myself. But I could tell you about Nordos speaker cables. Obviously, they're very iconic, very, very iconic. Everyone knows about Nordos. Nordos is like saying the monster speaker cables, but of the ultra high end. It's a very well-known brand. Obviously great performance depending on the type of sound that you're looking for. It's a very clear, clean, ultra detailed type of sound. It can get bright if you're not doing a balancing act with Nordos cables. I'm going to tell you right now that you can run into some issues with brightness, okay? Be mindful of that. Don't say I didn't tell you. But clearly, Nordos is really a great, great loudspeaker cable manufacturer. It's not only that, it interconnects, USB cables. I mean, it's widely used by a lot of audiophiles. So definitely consider Nordos one of the leading cable manufacturers here in the United States. Good morning, everyone. All right. Hi, Jay. Just want to ask you about the whole moving. Why did you decide to move from Florida? Was it simply because of a good deal, or are there some deeper reasons? You don't have to answer. It's personal. No, I have no shame in answering this. No, I didn't move to where I'm going because of because I had a hidden agenda, or because I had a deal with a brand, or because I was going to get some sort of a paycheck by moving there. No, that's not the case. I'm moving there because, number one, my family likes it. We looked at the area several times. We have seen over 45 houses in person over the last 18 months. So we have been searching for a house for the last 18 months, a house that fit the bill, that gave me the space that I needed, and we found it. Also, it has a good school system for my daughter. It's got a lot of great restaurants around it, many things to do, shopping plazas. The weather is nice. So there was a lot that I took into account to select this new destination. It has nothing to do with me having some sort of a deal with a manufacturer or anything like that. First of all, I would never do that. And I'm going to tell you why. Imagine if you move somewhere because you have a deal with a manufacturer, but it's not, first of all, it's not inked, nothing is on paper. What if it ends a week later after you move? What if you don't have anything else? Then what? You moved your whole house somewhere over a verbal agreement? Doesn't work that way, guys. You have to really know where you're going. You have to really know where you're putting your efforts. I selected a great city where I expect for a lot of traffic. I expect for a lot of great audio files to come in and out of my home, and obviously for people to really enjoy the Jay's Audio Lab experience that I'm going to have. I'm looking to share an experience. I'm not looking to do something very lame. Here's what I mean by that. An experience to me is, for example, right? Let's say you're not local. Let's say you're coming in, you seeing two components that I have on the floor, and you want to come and audition them because you're seriously interested in buying either one from me. That's already been established, right? You're coming because there's serious interest. I'll pick you up from the airport if you're coming from anywhere in the States or overseas. I'll put you in my private apartment on property that you can actually stay with your wife, with your kids if you want to. You don't have to get a hotel or anything like that. You can stay there overnight. I'll take you out to dinner. I'll take you out to breakfast the following morning. I'll let you listen to both systems as long as you want to. That's an experience. That's an experience. You see what I'm saying? That's a real experience. But you clearly cannot do that for just anybody. Do you understand what I'm saying? You cannot be accommodating people like that for everyone that knocks on the door, right? So an experience is something that you give to someone that is coming in because they are clearly buying something from you, and you know they just need to make a decision between the two components that you have on the floor, whatever those may be. You offer that experience to that person. The right person, the right buyer, will appreciate everything else that's attached to that transaction. Staying on my property in a private apartment, be taken out to a nice restaurant for dinner and breakfast. This is what you offer to serious buyers. You see what I'm saying? That's the experience that I'm going to be building at Jay's Audio Lab. Now, that doesn't mean that the rest of you who don't have any interest in buying cannot come. There will be probably quarterly events where I'll open doors for everyone that wants to drive over to where I'll be to come and hang out and listen to the systems. And if you feel like buying something from me that's there, if you feel like bringing your trades, you can do that. There will be a time and a place for those of you to also come and at least listen to my two sound systems and my two listening rooms. But the experience is reserved for other people that perhaps are coming from abroad, okay? So a next level type of mentality is what I'm looking for, a next level type of business. I've realized over the last few months that the service approach and the experience now is a lot more valuable to people than ever before. Okay. It's actually, even believe it or not, in sports, you may not know this, but I'm going to let you in on more information that perhaps has gone right over your head. Okay. In sports, very few people are now interested in sitting down on a chair or a bench to watch a sports event that's just two people playing or two teams going up against each other. Now they are having to market it with a halftime event of some sort. Now there's got to be much more than just that, because the younger generations want to be entertained, not just watch two people play with a ball back and forth. So the experience is now becoming far more valuable than just opening your doors and letting people come and take a look and go on the way out. That doesn't even have any more impact as it once did. That doesn't mean that you may not have a person that just wants to come in, pay you for an item and leave. Yeah, you can still have those. But the experience, to me, is becoming far more valuable than just selling you a box. Remember that. And that is applying to a lot of business, not just hi-fi. Forget about hi-fi. That's actually taking place, again, on sporting events. For example, the Super Bowl. You know what that is, right? The Super Bowl event. Uh, you know, here in the US, the largest event, right? The halftime show is the most important part of the event, believe it or not. That's one of the most important parts of the show because the younger generations want to see Jennifer Lopez dance. They want to see Shakira. They want to see Dr. Dre. They also come for that. And so when you give people that experience, in my opinion, you have far more reach than just having a standard sporting event. So remember that. My mind is just growing higher and more with what's expected now. I think many stores are stuck on the old school approach of opening doors and do this. Look, just waiting for the phone to ring. Hello? Yep. I'm a Nordos dealer. Yep. Okay, what do you want? Yep, Valhalla 2. I can do it for this much. 2 meter? Okay. All right, you're gonna wire me the money now? Okay, I'll wait. Click. A lot of stores are about that. I'm not really interested in that. I want to just have an experience, an interaction with you. I want to understand your system. I want to understand why are you buying an amplifier from me? What's your amplifier not doing? What are your speakers not doing for you? Maybe I'll be the one to tell you, you know what? Don't do the speakers. Why don't we work on the amplifiers? I think you got the wrong amplifiers. Here's why. In my experience, and I can expand on that, can give you an idea as to why you may need amplifiers instead of the speakers you're trying to trade into me. This is more of a consulting type of relationship where I can give you qualified opinions based on ownership, and I can actually put you in front of the right gear, the right components, the right direction. Because I think many people are chasing their tail in this hobby due to lack of direction from real qualified people in the industry. And so you end up in this circle doing this, only to start right where you began. Remember that, okay? So that's not what I'm in. I'm not into that. As a matter of fact, look, I'll give you another example. I have a customer who's trying to get rid of his speakers. He's in another state. I flew out there to see him, right? He doesn't like the way the speakers sound. He thinks they don't sound very good in his room. He mentioned to me that he was even inquiring about my Martins, my Mingus. And I said, no, I'm not going to sell you my Mingus. My Martin Mingus will not work in your space. It's too small of a room and your electronics are not the right electronics for the speaker. So if I put the Mingus in here and they sound bad, you're going to be mad at me because I sold you the speakers. That's not what I'm going to do. So unless you're willing to shift other components with the Mingus, I prefer to not sell you the Mingus. I don't need the money that bad. That's kind of the way I want to approach relationships with you guys going forward. Believe me, I don't need to sell you a speaker desperately to put food on the table. And that's what keeps me calm and collected so that when you go home, you can be like, damn, that's cool that Jay actually talked to me out of buying speakers and he put me into this amp. And now that I'm hearing the amp, I see exactly what he meant. I had the right speakers. I just had the wrong amplifiers. Tons of respect for that. That's what I want to hear. I want to get that feedback eventually on my site with testimonials that people can actually show you and tell you what I have done for them. That's what I want to do. Real honest type of business that is not it's not out there to take your money. I don't want to take your money. I'm not saying I'm Arnold when it comes to my bank account. I'm not saying I am, but I don't need to take your money to put food on the table. I am okay without selling you something. I just want to sell you the right thing for your system to make a positive improvement on your system. All right. I'm going to continue with the questions. Danny Richard spilled the beans. He said you were moving to Texas in one of his latest videos, but he didn't exactly disclose where. So you might Danny might be wrong. I apologize if you've already answered this type of question. No. With used gear, you also have to worry about stripping. That is where it's not stolen. They own the gear, but they take off the case and take out a lot of the expensive components to use or sell. Yep. This is another thing that's happening, by the way, guys, when you sell equipment on eBay. Listen to me very clearly. Those of you that love to do your own dealing and wheeling and all of this, selling your hi-fi, and that you think you are qualified to do a phenomenal job, and you know the workaround, and you know how to sell your gear. I'm going to give you that feedback that Joel just gave us. That is happening. What do I mean? You ship your product. They take out what they need to fix their own, and then they'll put that piece in your product. They'll send it back to you and tell you it's not working. And of course, when you get the component, you see that it doesn't work. You had no clue that they gutted your product and they put back whatever they had on their end. This is happening. This is happening. This is the importance of letting someone else take the risk. There are many of you out there right now watching me that have successful businesses. You don't need the money. You're comfortable in life. You're retired. Why are you selling on used audio websites? Why are you doing the legwork? If you are so comfortable in life, why are you dealing with these thieves online that are trying to rip you off? Why not let someone else, it doesn't have to be me, why not let, like the music room, sell the item for you? Let them take the risk. Let them make their money because they got to make money, right? They're not going to do it for free. Let them make the money. And at the end, and then you can actually sit comfortably and take what you think is a fair share for the sale of the product. But no, a lot of you that have money are cheap enough that don't want to let someone else make money, and you want to take on the responsibility and the liability of having to ship and sell your own hi-fi. Again, unless you really need to do that because you're strapped for money, I get it. But the rest of you that are comfortable in life, when I hear you all tell me, I'll sell it on my own and I'll just put it up for sale, to me, that is so ridiculous. And let me tell you something, and I'm going to be very blunt with what I'm about to say. And I'll put it out there just so you understand how some people work. Some people in this industry. About 5 years ago, I had a phone call from a person that said, I saw your YouTube channel and I think you buy high-end stuff, buy hi-fi stuff. My husband just died, had a heart attack 3 weeks ago. We buried him and he left me with a bunch of hi-fi stuff. You have to come and take a look. I'm like, sure, I definitely buy high-end equipment, and I can go out there and go look. So I drove, it was local. So I was given the address to this house. Listen to this. I got there. I thought I made a mistake when I got to the address. No, I didn't make a mistake. It was a $30 million home. The water was essentially almost washing into these people's backyard. It was that close to the water here in Delray Beach. $30 million home. The garage opens. There are like 4 supercars in there. 4 supercars in there parked. Lady comes out. She looks to be maybe late 50s, good shape, and she says, oh yeah, let's go inside. Let me show you what I have here. Walked inside. She takes me to a room that was the size of a ballroom at a huge hotel. That is the sound room of this guy that passed away, her husband. I see 2 Kef loudspeakers that are like $250,000. I don't remember the model. Okay, you can look them up. They're a weird shape. It's not like a blade or nothing. It's not a blade. It's something above that. There's only like a limited run of that speaker, but they're about $250,000, right? I hear that even the president of the company comes to set them up. I mean, it is their baby. They're sitting right there. There's a massive screen. There's in-wall speakers. To the right, there is a full rack of Macintosh gear. 1.25 kWs, 2.0 kWs, turntables, the matching tube preamplifiers. There's Krell electronics. I mean, there is a lot of stuff there. All right. So she had me look around. Wrote down everything on a piece of paper. Sat down. She offered me a soda. I drank a soda. She comes out with a folder. She sets it right next to her. I do my research to figure out what's fair value and all of this stuff. As I'm doing that, she tells me, I have to tell you something, okay? I'm selling the house because I have no space here. My kids have zero interest in any of this stuff. They are happy listening to their AirPods on their iPhone and iPads. They don't have any interest in this stuff, sound system. So when you take everything out of here, if we do the deal, I don't want to see any wires on the wall. All this stuff that's enclosed in the wall, I want that completely sealed because I don't want that to be, part of the house. Like when I show it to potential buyers, I don't want them to see a disaster. So you have to fix and leave me the Atmos speakers playing so that I can watch the news in the morning with the big TV. So I said, no problem. I'm going to factor that in. I have an installer that can come out here and wire everything perfectly. I'll put in a 2-channel amplifier as well. I'll buy that amplifier for you. And obviously, so you can have your sound and it'll be part of it. It'll be nice. Everything will be tucked away out, away from your site. Okay. You're not going to see that. So I'm factoring I called the installer that I know. He comes out, he looks at the job. He understands what he needs to do. He tells me, this is what I need to make the job work. I said, no problem. Thank you for that. So finally, I come up with my numbers, all included, the whole thing. Put it on the table. I gave it to her. She says, I have all the receipts right here from everything you just saw. My husband was very meticulous. He kept receipts for everything he bought. She says, we're not even close. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm willing to take 20% off the price he paid. Meaning she wanted me to pay 80% of the original price of each component. And I opened the folder. He had bought everything at full MSRP. Every single invoice was at MSRP, original pricing. So I looked at her and I said, I can buy all of this for brand new for way less than the money you're looking to get for all of it. I'm not an end user. This is for me to resell. Remember that. There's a difference. Oh, well, no, we can't really do that. I said, well, you are free to open your doors and let people come around your beautiful home to take a look and see what they want to take. You told me it has to be all or nothing. You told me you have requirements of leaving the Atmos speakers on and leave an amplifier working, okay, and all of that. You have requirements. No one off the streets is coming to do that for you. They're going to come and take whatever they want for their use, rip it out of the wall, pay you, and leave you in on the way out a bunch of mud from their dirty shoes. Do you want to go through all of that in your beautiful home? Is that really what you're looking to do? She's like, it's a point. You got, it's a really good point what you're making, Jay. But to me, I could never do that. I could never sell all of this for the price that you're looking to get it for. I'm like, well, because I'm in the industry. It's used stuff. A lot of it has no boxes. I have to buy boxes. I haven't tested it. I'm buying it as is. If I ship a product to a customer, right, and it doesn't work, I have to deal with that. I have to send it in for repair. I have to put brand new accessories. You don't know where the accessories are. You have no clue where the boxes are. So how are you making this work? There's a lot of, on my end, there is a lot of risk for this. So she didn't see these things. So we didn't put together a deal. She calls me about three weeks later, and she says to me, hey, what were you offering me for all of this? I gave her the number. She's like, oh, no. She's like, we're too far out. We're too far away. She went away. So the reason why I'm telling you this story, guys, is person living in a $30 million house. Her husband just died. 4 supercars. She's clearly going to be posting the house for sale, right? She has a special requirements when it comes to the removal of the gear, how she wants things to be left behind, all these things, right? She doesn't need any money. She doesn't look like she's in desperate need of the money. But you feel somehow, some way that you can probably do better on your own, allowing strangers to come into your mansion and probably grab something out of your house on their way out to their car and steal something from your property. I don't understand how people that rich can be so dumb, so stupid. Like to me, and by the way, I have other examples to give you where this has also been the same situation. People that have all this money have no reason to be this way. It's more about, here's Jay, recommended by my house manager. By the way, her house manager knew a friend of mine who's the person who called me. I come recommended by her house manager as the person perfect for the job to come and take everything away and do it right and do it professionally. And yet she prefers to just figure out if someone else can come and grab it. Again, you don't know who's coming into your home, into your beautiful home. You're living by you live by yourself. Your husband just died. You're alone. Your kids are not even there anymore. They're off to college. And you want to bring random people in and out of the house to take a look at the stuff? It's, to me, it's so stupid and ridiculous to see that some of the wealthiest people are the worst at this. They're nickel and diming as if they're struggling for a payday, as four supercars on the driveway. You understand what I'm saying, guys? I think we were like $60,000 apart, something like that. But in the grand scheme of things, you think about it, it's like, is 60 grand really going to make a change when I look at your property, when I look at what you've got here, when I look at everything that you own? Is it really going to change your life? It's not going to. But you have someone qualified to come and do the things that are important to you, which is to leave you things how you want and to do a good job, and someone that is reliable, that's not a thief, recommended. Some of the wealthiest people don't think that way. True story. All right. Okay, Gaddy Marcus. Thank you for sharing that story, brother. Anytime, man. Anytime. Hopefully, my personal story about how I got started helps you guys. If you're running a business, you're getting started, don't be afraid. Just do it. Don't be afraid. Ignore the haters. Enjoy their envy. It shows you're growing. Keep moving forward. Love your work. Thank you, Tazo. I appreciate it. Haters are part of the journey, anybody's journey. They're there to hate. As a matter of fact, if you have no haters, maybe you may want to be concerned why you have no haters. If you have haters, it's simply the fact that you are going places. They are noticing you. They are seeing what you're doing every day. Remember that. And the more they talk about you, the more in love they are with you deep down. Room is looking pretty rough. Yes, Todd. I agree, man. I agree. Jay, are you ever going to afford more affordable gear? Am I going to ever review, more affordable gear? The answer is yes. That's the plan. Now, I'm not going to say that I'm going to get out there and continue to review, a $300 DAC or anything like that. No, that's not something I'm interested in doing. Okay. I probably will do things that are certainly more affordable in comparison to what I normally have. Yes. But I'm not going to be embarking on a $1,000 sound system. That's not what I'm not creating this business model that I just explained to you, the experience, all the money that I have to spend in the rooms to put a $1,000 sound system. It's not something that I'm going to do. Yes, I do. Got a lot of pitching to do. Leave the wires. Okay. Best of luck for the signing. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Hopefully it happens soon. Yes, no, all of this, Todd, I am clearing everything out of the room so that my handyman can come in next week and actually begin to patch up everything and make the room all white. So yes, the room will be completely white. Hello, Jay. Wish you the best. Any thoughts about Claris's? Is it possible to compare it to Magical and Alcivox? Look, when you're looking at two speakers that are different technologies, different design, it is very difficult to do. Comparing panels to box speakers, yes, it can be done. Of course, it can be done. But is it really a fair apples to apples comparison? No. Can you compare omnidirectional speakers to box speakers? You can, but it's a different type of technology, different type of sound. It's very hard to do it's not a real apples to apples comparison. You see what I'm saying? It's not a real apples to apples comparison. So what I can tell you is panels have, of course, the incredible imaging, incredible, probably unbeaten by any speaker when it comes to imaging. Panels are fantastic when it comes to stereo imaging. There is absolutely no problem with coherency. You know that if the panel is full range, we're not going to be concerned with something being out of alignment or the bass not being accurate or anything like that. Okay, a full range panel can give you enough bass to where you don't have to be concerned with that. The biggest problem with panels, in my opinion, one, they can be very hard to drive. They have wicked loads. The impedance curve can drop to like 1 ohm. Like Magnepens are, they are amplifier killers. Magnepens. You need all the gas, the power, the horsepower you can afford for Magnepens. In my opinion, you'd really need great amplification. But I'm not gonna lie, Magnepens, they are capable of giving you eargasms. Yes, it's a new word I just invented. Magnepens can give you an eargasm. They are so much fun. They are so impressive when you take in consideration that you can buy them from like the used market for $8,000, $9,000. It's a hell of a deal. It's a lot of speaker. It's a lot of fun with a Magnepen. Clarises, they're more efficient, as you know. Florian he knows all the Apogee design, right? That has been his bread and butter. This is how he created the Clarises, based on his knowledge of Apogee speakers when he repaired them, when he restored them. So he had a lot of love for Apogee, but he always found an opportunity, and obviously an opportunity to make improvements to Apogees, namely the impedance, namely the wicked loads of Apogees, right? So he created Clarises, and it's a far more efficient speaker. Yes, it's got, in my opinion, better looks, right? It's all subjective. So it's a very, very good product. It's a really good product, but it's hard to compare Magical to Clarises. To be honest with you, they're just so different. It's so different. It's like a horn speaker. There are horn lovers, although horns are colored, their mid-range is colored, but some people love that. Some people love that coloration that horns have, and there's nothing wrong with it. They're a lot of fun, highly efficient, impressive, all of that. But it's hard to compare horns also to box speakers. But if you want to try panels, I would say Claris's audio should be at the top of your list. Suncoast Audio, Mike, who owns Suncoast Audio, is the distributor. I would say pay him a visit, go talk to him. I'm sure he could put in a good demo, give him a call in advance. He's a busy man, make sure he's in the store. And he can rotate different amplifiers for you so you can get a feel for the brand. So that is really the recommended destination dealer, in my opinion, for the brand. Okay, so nothing but great things to say about Claris's audio. Okay, Jay Saudi Love, Alpha Audio proved that cables can be fast or slow with their huge cable test. Interesting. I don't know if I can hear it, but I'm gonna have to look into that. It's not that I don't believe you, Harry. I'm not gonna tell you that I don't believe what you're saying, but I haven't really dug deep into that. I haven't really started to like dissect the speed, the quickness of a cable, if that makes sense. So maybe I need to start doing that. All the best from Germany. Ralph, thank you for watching me from Germany. You're a beautiful country, man. I hope to be there, in the near future again. Are you going to have separate power from the main pole for the new rooms, or just some power condition? No, I'm going to have separate power, Jason. The goal is to have actual separate power. I want to actually buy audiophile grade circuit breakers and everything, the whole panel. I want to buy something, and I haven't looked into that yet. Eventually, I'm going to start looking at companies that make audiophile grade circuit panels and all of that, and breakers and all of that. I want to start from the outside all the way in, and eventually drop I'm hoping to drop 8 to 10 dedicated lines inside my room. That's what I want to shoot for. 20 amp. 30 to me sometimes is overkill. If I'm being honest with you, 30 amp are too overkill. I think I want to do maybe 8 20 amp outlets and perhaps 2 30 amp if I need it. But that's about it. Am I taking a corporate job? Trevor, no, I'm not, Trevor. My goal is to focus 100% on my business. I never want to work for anyone in corporate America again as long as I can avoid it. If I have a breath in my lungs and I can continue to have the desire to do what I do, Trevor, I plan to never return to corporate America again. I worked up until I was 45 years of age, and I started at the age of 16. So that's a good, what, 29, 30 years of working for someone else. I am done working for someone else. Never again. I will do anything and everything within my power to work for me until I am gone from this earth. Okay. I think that I came to the realization that when you work for someone else, you are making someone else rich. You are essentially giving your life away. And I understand we have to. I understand that there are jobs, you got health insurance to pay, you got the kids that need to go to school, but I think eventually, if you can come up with an idea that you think can really take you to the next level, I think you should do that parallel with your 9 to 5 until you are at a good point with that side business that you're doing, and then eventually let go. You can't be hanging on to 2 tree branches at the same time with both arms. Eventually, you're going to have to let go one to grab the next one with both arms. Remember that. Jay, lots of luck on your relocation. Just curious with all the great exiting content. Stay up on YouTube. I am going to stay up on YouTube, but it will no longer be about my system clearly, at least for the next 3 months. I am expecting for the build of my rooms to take me probably through the end of the year. I don't expect to be done before probably December. I think it'll take me probably 3 to 4 months to finish. Okay. And it's going to be a lot of hand holding, a lot of chasing contractors. You know the deal. It's going to be brutal. And then while I'm doing that, I got to be talking to those manufacturers within the hi-fi industry to see if we can come to some sort of like partnership to, for example, put acoustic treatments in the room, right? I never plan to change acoustic treatments. Why would I want to change acoustic treatments? They're probably going to stay put for the rest of the time I'm there. So I am going to be calling some acoustic treatment companies to see if they want to partner with me. Yes, that involves a sponsorship to do both of my rooms, treat them both in exchange for content. So those are the perks of being a YouTuber. You see what I'm saying? That's when being a YouTuber pays off. I can make calls, explain where I'm going to them, talk to some of the top guys within these companies and express that I want to have your brand in my room to treat both rooms. And I think that it will be a very, very beneficial partnership because they get to see, everyone in the world get to see both rooms with their acoustic treatments, right? So I got to make those calls and figure out who I want to use for my electrical. Figure out, am I going to use fewer tech outlets? Am I going to use, I don't know, synergistic research? Am I going to use whoever? I got to call. I got to make calls and figure out where I want to go. But it also has to be something that I believe in, that I trust. And you guys will be part of that. I would never let anyone come to my home. So this is a good, interesting point you're making, by the way. This is why I was saying to you that if I'm bringing someone that can have the experience in my lab, it has to be someone that I have some sort of relationship with. For the most part, it will be people that I have already gone to dinner with, have met my wife. I have been to their home multiple times in different states. Those would be the people that I would want to stay and have the experience. But I agree with you. It's scary to leave someone there and you don't really know if the next day you open the door, they have taken off with all your equipment. But again, this is why you have to have security. This is why you have to qualify people. A lot of you get offended when you hear these words thrown around. Oh, Did you hear what Jay said? He's only going to bring those that want to spend money. He's only going to be, that's not what I said. I said in order to have the experience, I have to qualify you. I have to make sure you're good. I have to make sure you're not some crazy psycho. I have to make sure who are you? What do you do for work? What do you do for a living? Can I fact check what you're telling me? Because if I'm going to put you on my property, which is a separate apartment of my property, you're not in my house, you're on an apartment on my property. I want to make sure you're good. That you're not going to wake up in the middle of the night and shoot us all. Like, this is what part of the qualifying process or screening process means. Okay? So I agree with your statement. Congrats on the move to you and your family, Jay Hermano. I wish you have known you were looking and could have sold my farm in Puerto Rico. See you at the Capital Audio Fest. Hey, Professor Jim, I will see you at Capital Audio Fest. Absolutely. Good to see you here with me. Can I request a review? Sure, request it. I don't know if I'll do it, but I can hear your request. No one wants to see J-Lo dance in 2025. I would have to agree, right? But she still does it. Jay, your customer-centric approach and values specifically, especially at this price point, is very admirable, as is your dedication to this hobby, industry, and community. Thank you so much, Harry. Really appreciate your words. I'm in Jay, saving up my chips, and you'll hear from me. I'm close to Texas and Louisiana. Thank you. Awesome, Trevor. Great food in Louisiana, man. I don't know if I could live there because the food is too good, man. Hey Jay, do you have any idea yet what your new music rooms will look like in terms of color scheme and materials used? Williams, so I don't know yet. I think what I need to do is like a 3D render of the rooms with the actual dimensions and do it on a computer. I got to hire maybe someone that can show me, here's the dimensions of the two rooms, here's the color schemes. This is what we're looking at for carpet, because I don't want to put money into the room and then I walk in and realize that's not what I had in mind. It looks horrible. It doesn't look great. And then I have to rip up everything I did and do it all over again. I don't have that room for mistake. So I will probably figure out where or who can do these 3D renderings and kind of give me an idea of, here's where we could have chairs. Here is what we could do to separate them. Here's what we can do to, decoration, color schemes. I definitely need to see that, right? And that's going to take time. But I need to find the right people. I can't go with the first person that knocks on my door. Jay, Simon, people like that don't value what they have. Yep, Simon, I agree with you. Yep. Sounds like the widow lady wasn't the one that made the millions of dollars. Yeah, probably not, Todd. Probably not. But she said she was a widow. I'm assuming all the money stayed, with her. They were her kids. She was not the stepmom. So at least I didn't think she is, or she was. Some of the richest people are the most stingy. Yep, very true. Exactly, Harry. Very true. And I hope that type of individuals watching right now this live stream, so they understand what not to do. Must have been a trophy wife. No, not really. She was about 60. There was no trophy, unfortunately, that's 60 years old. Hopefully I don't get killed by the ladies watching today. Okay. Hello from Belgium. Awesome, Michael. Good to see you here. Are you planning to be a Capital Audio Fest? The plan is to be a Capital Audio Fest if my room is on track. The build of my room or rooms must be on track for me to take time away. You could cut a hole in the wall, push the wires into the wall and patch over, just in the case that they need to be reused in the future. I agree with you, Costa, and that's probably what I'm going to do. I thought about that. I agree with you. Okay, thank you for your collaboration. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. All the best in this new chapter of your journey, Jay. Thanks for everything. I think I know why audiophiles are becoming fewer. The tiny rooms in these new condos are too small for all the gear. There is so much truth about what you're saying. There's so much truth to that. Homes are just smaller and they're costing more and more and more money. Builders are building properties where they used to build 30 properties, they're trying to put 60 in there and just get everybody to be almost rubbing shoulders. You're almost rubbing shoulders against your neighbor, and the rooms are tinier. So it makes sense. It's harder to get motivated to have really quality hi-fi, a hi-fi system when your room is just not good. You're like, man, I don't want to drop 50 grand. My room is like 10 by 10. Like, it's hard. It's hard to justify that kind of expense. So I totally agree with you there. What is my take on 230 volts dedicated circuits for amps? Well, I have heard from a lot of people who claim that amplifiers that use 220 volts or 30 volts sound better. Can I really co-sign on that? No. I don't think I have done enough trials with amplifiers. I think I need to do an A and B comparison to really see if this is true. I don't know if I've heard a difference. Some say amplifiers that are 220, 230 volts actually run cooler, believe it or not. Is that true? I don't know. I would have to have two amplifiers or at least one amplifier that can switch voltage automatically to really tell you if this is the case. But I have been told by a lot of people within the industry that amplifiers that are 220, 230 sound better. Please talk to acoustic geometry for room treatments. Maybe if they are seeing this video, they can email me and maybe we can get on a call. Absolutely. Design it yourself, put your own character into it so it's functional for sound. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, though, remember, Audiophile Cat, although I want to design it and I want to do this for myself, it has to be functional and it has to definitely sound good. This time I am using more help. I may take measurements. I think I'm going to take measurements too, and obviously use the right person to come and just do a great job at treating the room. My only fear is overdamping the room. If I overdamp the room, it's going to sound too quiet, too muffled, too just like it might choke too many speakers, if that makes sense. So I have to find the right balance. I don't want a room that doesn't sound lively. That's my only concern. I want to lower the noise in the room, yes, but I don't want that to absorb the liveliness of a loudspeaker or a sound system, I should say. Does that make sense? And that usually happens with certain speakers and room treatment, by the way. Hey Jay, I'm in one of your videos. You said roofs at 10 foot, but what about dropping it 12 to 14? So 10 foot isn't. So the thing, Jay, is the golden ratio is typically what's good for a 25 by 16 is 10 foot ceilings. 25 by 15, excuse me, are 10 foot ceilings. That's typically the ratio that they recommend for best sound. Could I do 12? Yes, I could do 12. But I don't see a need for doing 12 unless I just have to. If I can get away with 10 and get better sound at 10-foot tall ceilings than 12. That's the only thing I'm concerned with, Jay, to be honest with you. And so if an acoustician tells me, Jay, stick to 10, and he can prove it as to why that is, I'm going with 10-foot ceilings. I think 10-foot ceilings to me are sufficient for most speakers, in my opinion. That's not to say that a 12-foot ceiling is not going to work. I'm not saying that. But my fear is if I put a shorter speaker and now I got 12-foot ceilings, how is that going to sound? That's my only fear. You do not need to defend your stance on bringing people you trust. I agree with you, Jim. I do not. D'Agostino Relentless versus your big boy Apex. Trevor, if I can do that shootout, the plan is to do it. If I can have, right now, for example, I could do a shootout of Apex monoblocks versus CH M10s There's versus Solution 701s. I could do a three-way shootout right now. Those three amplifiers, flagship amplifiers from three different brands with their matching line stages, I could do that shootout right now if I was already where I'm going. So yes, you're going to see that level of gear be compared in real time, like two systems, two sound systems next to each other. Like both systems will have their monoblocks plugged into the wall on for like 2-3 days. I can leave both systems playing music overnight just to let them settle in at once. So you'll have two different sound systems playing music overnight, which doesn't matter. No one will be there, but at least you got both of them to play. And then the next day, we'll turn one down, listen to the first one, walk over to the second one, turn this one down, and listen to it. See, that's the cool thing about having two rooms. Yes, so the plan is to bring the Martin Mingus to their lab. I am going to have a very special loudspeaker in that room that I have not announced. I've had this speaker since last October in a crate, sealed. I haven't even opened that speaker, and I haven't even seen that speaker at a show in real life. I've only seen images of that speaker. I bought it almost a year ago, and it's been in my storage unit completely sealed. So that will be the face of the room. When I get to the point in which I'm wheeling those huge speakers, maybe around November, I'll make crazy content around that speaker. That's a big deal. Okay, that speaker is a big deal. It'll be the face of my cost no object sound system. High J, higher voltage means less amps, less stress on the components because, yep, but with big amps, I don't think it makes a difference, especially with the power supply size in most high-end amps, just my take. Okay, thank you for that feedback, Jay. Scott Clark, Big J is coming. It might be bad, but it might be great. Well, I'm coming. That's for sure. My plan is to keep pushing, the envelope in hi-fi and giving people different ideas. Obviously, the goal is to just show you more than I have ever been able to do in the past. If I can do that every day for the next 2-3 years, I think I have given back a lot to many of you at that point in time. And remember, I plan to host events. At least, my goal is at least, if I have the time, of course, once per quarter. I want to do an event, meaning, 15 of you, 20 of you can come out, meet, talk amongst yourselves, people that you probably don't even know lived in the area, or those of you who commuted and came to hang out, to share drinks with me, to have cigars if you are into cigars, go into the rooms, in and out, listen to the system, or systems, and have a good time. Order food. I want to do those things. And then maybe I'll have industry experts, different reps from different brands come in and probably talk about, I don't know, here's our grounding product. We're going to put it in Jay's Audio Lab system. Here are the before and after effects. And I have 10 of you sitting there on chairs, and you guys quietly can listen to the effects and then talk like, wow, incredible. Or I didn't hear a difference. What do you mean? Let's play it again. And have these on video, these live testimonials about what people heard on video. So you can be part of the action too. You can actually comment. Here's John. John said he heard a difference. This is what he heard. Here is Rick. Rick said he couldn't hear any difference. Here's the other guy. Here's the other guy. So that's what I want to do. Just make it like an open mic event. Everyone is entitled to say whatever they want. Ultimately, we can't hear what someone else is hearing. We're all different. Jay, everyone loves you, brother. You will land over there for sure, brother. Yep, I appreciate that, man. Any plans to try to pull full range speakers like Songer Audio in your new labs? Departure from the regular multi. I don't have any plans. I don't even know about that brand, to be honest with you. Never heard of it. So I may have to look into this. Sounds like a plan, Jay. Yep. Hi-Res Costa, I'm happy for you, Jay. Wish you good luck in your future endeavor. Man, it's something that I really appreciate when you guys are giving me that extra push and words of encouragement. I need that. I need that because I got a lot ahead of me. I have so much ahead of me. Do me a favor and hit that like button right now, right? Appreciate you guys doing this right now so that we can call in more people. I'm going to give you another 15 minutes. If you have any questions about anything in particular, please post them right now. I'll go through the questions over the next 15 minutes, but hit that like button, guys, please. Would you allow for family to hang out into your new music room? So, yes. So, of course, my family, yeah, absolutely. My daughter is 9. She knows better. She's not the type to walk into a room and start playing with things or anything like that. All I got to do is play her Barbie songs and she's happy. But yes, absolutely, man. I mean, yeah, my family, my wife, no one touches anything, even in here. My daughter actually has only touched one thing. She blew a magical S7 tweeter in here, and she didn't do it when she was young. She did it. I mean, she didn't do it when she was a baby. She didn't. She did it when she was like 7 years old already. Didn't do it at 6. Didn't do it at 5. Didn't do it at 4 or 3 or 2. She did it when she was 7. She walked up to the tweeter on the S7 and pushed it in and broke it. That was an $800 tweeter. That's the only time she's ever touched anything. After that, she doesn't even get close to any of the equipment or touches it. Doesn't care for it. So she knows better. And my wife doesn't touch anything. So yeah, absolutely. I would definitely let my family in and out. That's not a problem. Finger crossed for me. Thank you, the normal. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for your good wishes. Really appreciate that. Cool. Hope you get us updated with the bill and ideas as you go along. Thanks for the live, great chat. No problem. And you will be getting ideas. All I ask is for you guys to turn on your notifications on. Turn them on. That way, when I start releasing these videos, as I start making my move, you will see those pop up on your phone or your tablet or whatever it is that you use. Okay, so turn on your notifications right now on your phone or tablets. I have not disclosed where I'm going just yet. It'll be disclosed once I sign the paperwork. The closing of the house should be happening over the next few days. And once that's done, then I'll be in position to disclose where the location is. Maybe a review on the new Wilson Watt puppy if you come across a pair. Yep, I will come across a pair. I'm sure I will. I will definitely. I actually want to hear them in my listening space. So it's a matter of time. Eventually, you guys know. It's a matter of time before I end up with the new product. Right now, whatever Wilson puppy is out there, it's just being used by the original owner. Eventually, it'll end up in my lap. It's just how it is. Got to keep cats away. My cat is pretty good. She doesn't mess with them, but I've known cats to claw out woofer before. Oh, hell no. No cats in my room ever. And we have cats in the house too, but they have never been in my rooms. They don't know this room exists. Dennis Perez, yeah, where are you going to meet? Do a Florida meet before you leave? No, Dennis, I don't have time anymore, unfortunately. It's a good idea. But I'm not going to. It's just because now I am in my crunch time. I am now today doing this when I should be finishing the room, but it's okay because I enjoy talking to you guys. But I don't really have any time anymore. I am actually tomorrow. I'm finishing the room today and tomorrow. I'm finishing the last few things I need to do with the room. Then I think Tuesday, the handyman is going to come out here and start sealing all these holes that you see here and painting and sanding all the glue off the walls and all of that. And then I'll be in position to hopefully have a nice clean room. The vacuum and all of this will take place then. But no, I don't plan to do anything, at this time, to be frank with you. I just never thought about it, if I'm being sincere, Dennis. I wish I would have thought about that. If you had told me before, I probably would have done it. Someone beat me to a pair of Vandersteen C1s in the marketplace today. Damn. Yep. I know. It happens. It happens. I sold a lot of these in walls. By the way, my in walls, 13 in walls for $1,000. That's how much I sold them. Someone reached out to me. He's in Colorado, I think. I figure, why not? You're here. And I did it. I sold all my walls for $1,000. A steal. But I figure, you know what? Someone can use them. I am done with them. I have no use for them. I'd rather do someone right, let them use. Each in-wall was like $1,000. Crazy. Each in-wall was a lot of money. And so I figure I sold all of them for $1,000 for shipping. I wanted to help somebody out. They ended up getting them for like $70, $70 per in-wall. So it's okay though. What are your thoughts on Wadax reference Atlantic versus Cascade? I actually already made a video, okay, on the Cascade, and I talked about the Wadax. So you may want to go watch that video, my review on the MSB Cascade, and I have a few things to say about the Wadax, okay? So check that video out. Jay, seeing as you're moving to Texas, is going off grid, fully battery power for the new lab in the books. There is going to always be power conditioning, but I also plan to have a nice electrical system, right? I plan to have dedicated outlets. I plan to have great circuit breakers. I mean, as much as I can afford. Eventually, I'll top out. But if my budget allows, again, I want to do a great panel on the back of the room, great circuit breakers, and nice wire on the walls. I don't want to use the cheap normal wire. I want to use some great audiophile quality wiring in the walls, by the way. That's something I want to try for the first time. I really want to come from the circuit breakers, from the circuit panel. I want to come through the walls with real top audiophile grade wires, believe it or not. I want to use crappy wires from a regular hardware store. I don't want to do that no more. I actually want to do, it's not going to be cheap, but I want to bring quality grade wires from the inside, from the outside to the inside. Is Danny going to help you set up off grid? No, I mean, I haven't thought about that, Scott. I know he has a nice setup over there with, he has solar panels, nice system over there, really cool. I don't have any plan, but you know what? Over time, maybe I end up doing that for the whole house. I don't see a problem. I just want for those things to get cheaper up until I realize that I don't want to keep paying $600 or $700 a month on electricity. Then I'll go ahead and just probably do that and get solar panels for the house. Let me see. Reference Atlantic better than the Studio Player. No, I don't think so, Jay. The reference is another level, Jay. I mean, the reference DAC is not, the same as the studio. I mean, it's not even close, Jay. It's not a fair statement. All right, let's see. Definitely recommend talking to multiple acousticians and building the biggest room with up to 14 foot tall ceiling, assuming the appropriate dimensions ratios. You can do in lots of acoustic treatments. Yeah, that's the plan, and we're gonna try to do it right one time. We're doing it once and right and be done. I wonder, Ted from FureTech has big rolls of AC power cable you can buy for $1 million. Yeah, maybe. Cool thing is, again, I may just email FureTech, and tell them, listen, this is Jay's Audio Lab. I want to buy wires for my entire sound systems. Can you hook me up? And listen, a lot of these brands are willing to. Trust me, if I mention them. If I mention that I did that, a lot of them are going to say, we'll take care of you. Don't worry about it. What do you need? That's what will happen. But I first need to figure out who that is. Who do I want to use for this? That's all. If Strom Tank is so good and you're using battery power, why go through all the trouble and expense of dedicated electric lines? Because, Trevor, I don't plan on buying a $90,000 Strom Tank. Remember, the smaller Strom Tanks cannot accommodate for amplification. Also, I want to plug my amplifiers into the wall. So I want to be able to have enough power for my amplification. I also may want to try occasionally components into the wall versus a power conditioner. I may end up doing Strom Tanks and maybe Shunyata Everest X's. Don't know. But you bring up an interesting point because I have also thought about perhaps not going all out on the electrical. But something inside of me tells me, Jay, what if, for whatever reason, you want to use amps like the Apex monoblocks? They need dedicated outlets. And so for them, I want to have great power from the outlets. If I buy other big amplifiers, I want to have great outlets, great power for them. Maybe not so much for my digital. You're right. For my digital, I may want to use power conditioners. For my preamplification, yes, for that, I may use regular power conditioning. But I think for amps, it's a must have to have dedicated outlets. Absolutely. Okay. And any last few questions from anyone here? Does anyone have any questions that you may want me to address right now? What's your take on studio grade EQ, rolling off lows to create more headroom for dynamics? Any experience with that? No experience with that, Harry. The consensus around the hi-fi industry when it comes to EQ is that you're not a purist at that point. Anytime you incorporate an additional circuit, in this case an EQ, they say you are essentially deteriorating the signal and you're turning the signal into what it wasn't intended to be. Now, of course, we can open up a discussion about that. We can start talking about, this is true, this is not true. Of course, we can debate the subject. But for two-channel mainly, using an equalizer, the consensus is that it's detrimental to the pure signal, okay, that we are paying top dollar for. You're going to hear it from a lot of people. You can use an equalizer to fix the highs, fix the lows, fix the mid-range. And I don't disagree. My only concern, and remember this, all of you watching me right now, please hit that like button right now and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to tell you something, okay? Be very careful when you're adding a component that has any sort of treble, like knobs for the treble, bass, mid-range, or an EQ, or anything that allows you to tweak the sound like that with knobs. Let me tell you why. If you have an OCD personality, you are never going to stop tinkering with those knobs. You are going to be playing with every knob for every single song, and you'll never end this rabbit hole. You're actually going to become frustrated, miserable, not enjoying your system. You really think an EQ is a plus, have a real plus add-on to your system? It is not. It is going to drive you nuts to have to get up for every single track and bring down the highs because maybe it is classic rock from the 80s. Well, now I am listening to EDM, electronic dance music. I need more bass because EDM has more bass. So now you crank up the bass. Well, guess what? The next track happens to be pop. It's got too much bass. I got to take down the bass now. You see what you're doing? You'll never stop tinkering with the system. Be very careful when buying tone controls of any kind. You don't want them in the system. They are going to drive you crazier than anything else. Trust me when I say this. Trust me. The great power conditioner debate. Is it worth the hassle to start an all new brand in 2026 going forward for the new gen of audio guys? I don't know. That's a good question. Do I hate Lana Del Rey? No, I don't, man. That's like one of my secret crushes. My wife is not here, so I can say that. Lana Del Rey is a beautiful girl. Oh my God, are you kidding me? That is, my Lord. I just bought an Ultra Graph Pro Studio Style EQ. Just can't tie it with my Yana. Okay. That's another conversation within you guys. Do you have good headphones to listen to while you're with your setup? I don't really have. I just have Apple AirPods and Pro Max. I think they're called, the big ones. Those are the ones that I got. That's it. That's all I have. Your analog setup was EMM Labs and DS Audio cartridge. Why did you not use the full DS Audio analog? No reason. I bought it like that. I bought it from an end user, a follower of mine. He had it like that. I bought his whole system. He wanted it gone. He said he needed everything out, and he needed me to take the whole thing. So I ended up buying it like that. But there was no real reason, to be honest here. Angela Yilber Young of Canada Hi-Fi Products are outrageously quality. She's experimented with massive Farah power supply. Cool. Awesome. Awesome. Let me see. Is there anything else you guys want to know? Anything, any last questions that you guys may have before I wrap things up? You see? Okay, nothing else. Okay. Well, folks, I got to get back to work. I got to continue on the grind. Look at this. All this madness, I got to keep working on and finish up with what you see that's loose, and then put it in the middle of the room so that my handyman can come in and do his magic, guys. So thank you for your support. Thank you for your love as always. You guys know that I am moving up to a greater level because of you. Because of you. All of you watching me is the reason why I'm growing, because of you guys supporting me and believing in what I do. So as I continue, I only want to make the channel better, more informative. I want to bring better guests. I want to have even a studio to actually interview industry experts if I can. When they come to visit me, I just want to do something really special. I don't want to do what anyone else is doing. I want to do me. I want to do my own thing. And I want all of you to follow me and be part of the madness. And obviously elevate my content, become more of a professional, just bring you greater insights, more education, more knowledge. With more knowledge, there is always what? More power. Thank you for your support, and I will talk to you next week. Peace.